so that we can use this recording later on. All right, so chapter 6 is on population. Clearly, it's about the population of India and Brazil again we'll be studying, because throughout the book we are comparing these two countries only. Right? So let's jump on to this quick question. What is census? Those who have heard this word, what does it mean? What is it exactly? You can unmute and answer, or you can type in the chat box.
Teacher, census is that it is conducted a survey after every 10 years to know what is the population or any other thing related to it.
Okay. Anyone else? Do you want to answer?
Teacher,
Nikita.
account of a living people in a country.
Count of the living people in a country. Others, do you agree, disagree? You want to add something more to this? I will wait for 10 seconds. Okay, Bhumika agrees. 5 seconds I'll wait. Shubham Khorde says it's a survey of the population. All right, 5 seconds up. Correct. Everyone, I agree with you. Oh, Harsh Dubey is writing, census includes total process of collecting, compiling, analyzing, publishing, and disseminating statistical data regarding the population and housing. This seems like copied from Wikipedia or somewhere, but okay. Thank you, Harsh. Harsh Gupta also agrees. Perfect. Yes, you are all correct. Census is the data which is collected every 10 years. It's a survey through which we learn different information about the population of a specific country. Now in India, it is like every place it's hosted every 10 years. Okay, last time in India it happened in, does anyone know when the last census was? Without
2011.
Thank you, Akash. Yes, it was in 2011. I was in 11th standard back then. That's when this happened. Okay, so now the question comes, the census is a very tedious process, right? Like people are assigned, people who are in government jobs, school teachers, other government officers, they are all assigned the job of going to people's houses, specifically one by one, each and every house. Then they are given a big list of questions that they have to fill in. There's a big form that they have to fill. So it is a lot of hard work. It is a lot of manpower that is used. Now for all these officers who are going to collect the data, उनके लिए भी giving them some money for their labor, उनके रहने के लिए जगह, खाने पीने के लिए arrangements. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of money involved in this process, right? Let's quickly take a look at all the different kinds of questions that they have to collect, and then we'll discuss why is census important. इतना मेहनत करके इतना सर्वे करने का पॉइंट क्या है? But first we'll look at the list of questions which these
Teacher, how many
people
time it take to conduct whole census process? How much time?
takes quite some time, depends on the availability of information. Mostly I would say 15-20 minutes so minimum लगता ही है.
All throughout the country, I'm asking. मतलब पूरा country का survey they do. So all
that takes a lot of time because अलग-अलग regions में अलग-अलग time पे conduct होता है. So over a period of months वो लगता है. काफी महीनों का भी time लग जाता है पूरा collect होने में. So if you can see the screen, you can zoom in. This is the list of information that they have to collect for each and every member of the house. So relation to the head of household, their gender, their sex, age at last birthday, so age kya hai, current marital status kya hai, what was the age during marriage, what is the religion, what is the caste, mother tongue, other languages that they know. It's a very, very long list, right? Education level, disability hai ya nahi, are they working somewhere or not? Then economic activity, non-economic activity. Then you have distance and mode of travel to place of work. वो काम तक कैसे जाते हैं, कितना दूर है workplace, where were they born, इसके पहले कहाँ रहते थे, अगर मूव हुए हैं किसी और स्टेट में तो what is the reason for that migration. Then for married women there are questions, for cultivated households, अपना जमीन है या नहीं, उस पे कितना एरिया है जो कल्टीवेशन हो रहा है, जिसमें फार्मिंग हो रहा है. So there are so many questions that are to be asked. Right now, imagine this list of questions for each and every member of the house. So it's a really detailed survey that is being done. Now going back to my question, what is the point of this? इतना मेहनत क्यों करना है? Why is the government spending so much money in collecting all this data? So the next question automatically comes, why is census important?
To know about their country, what is happening, what is the situation of the people, because they implement policies and many things. So they will have a data in their mind. This many people live, so that they can make policy according to that, and to know the population of the country.
To know the population, to make policies. Priyanka also says to know the population of the country. Others also, please keep on writing your answers.
Teacher, they can understand how many people are voting also.
How many people are working? So certain information they can collect from the people. Thank you, Kaushik. Someone else? To overcome the problem. Athar, can you explain a little bit more? How do they overcome the problem from the information? Same question to Shubham Khorde also. Please explain a little bit more. To develop country in poverty. So based on information कि कौन कहाँ काम करता है, क्या करता है, कैसे रहता है, घर किधर है. On this information, how will they develop a country?
Teacher, can I tell?
No, let Athar and Shubham Khorde answer. Priyanka says how much area they have, to know how many are born. Siddesh says we get very important information from it and it helps government to get ideas for development of country. Atharv and Shubham Khorde, I'm still waiting. Please expand a little bit more. How does it help in development? Anyone else wants to answer? You can go ahead.
Teacher, I.
Akash, you have already answered. We'll wait for others also. There are quite a few students on the call. Let's wait for everyone. Someone who has not answered yet, please go ahead. To create more opportunities for the people living in the country. Dubey says census is important because it will help to know about the country, to know about poverty, how much land is used in farming, help them to think of or get an idea for development. So Athar says if in any country if there are less education by population, we can find how many can get education. Okay. Improve standard of living by implementing policies of standard living to balance the economic and substance. In India, teachers, you know, a country has balance between money and substances in the country. Okay, so good. I'm impressed. A lot of you are giving very, actually most of you have given really reasonable answers. And I agree with all of you. Just like Akash mentioned in the beginning, to make policies, right, to implement new developments. Atharv, Khorde, everyone, Harsh Dubey also pointed out the same things. To improve the standard of living. Yes, once we know what is the current situation, then only we can go on to make more plans, make more policies, make more arrangements, provide more resources to the people. Think of it in the context of our class only. अभी जो हमारा unit test हुआ, kind of a census only. It's just that वो हर 10 साल में नहीं होता है. But just to get an idea of what is currently happening, हम teachers के तौर पे, we as teachers, how can we help you more? किस एरिया में हमको हेल्प की जरूरत है, तो साइंस में ज्यादा फोकस चाहिए या मैथ्स में ज्यादा फोकस चाहिए, वी गेट अ गुड आइडिया ऑफ दैट, राइट. सेम थिंग हैपेंस विद द सेंसस आल्सो. वी गेट अ करंट आइडिया ऑफ व्हाट इज हैपनिंग विद द पीपल इन द कंट्री. कौन क्या काम कर रहा है, क्या मेहनत कर रहा है, किसको क्या प्रॉब्लम है. We get a good idea of all those things. Now, once the government knows that, it becomes easier for the government to come up with new strategies, come up with new policies, and कौन से area में implement करना है. So let's say survey लेके पता चला after the census, the government gets to know कि okay, I'm studying all the data that I'm receiving and I'm understanding that this particular place in Maharashtra, this place has very low employment rate. People are not going to jobs. Not a lot of people are doing any work in these areas. So how can I provide employment opportunities in that area then? तो गवर्नमेंट फिर उस पे काम शुरू करेगी, वहां पे कोई नया प्रोजेक्ट चालू करेगी ताकि लोगों को काम मिल सके. In certain area, if the census data के according, if government gets to know that in a certain area, small children are dying a lot. ठीक है, पैदा होते हैं within 2-3 years they are dying. So उस एरिया में ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? Finding out the reasons for that. क्या वहां पे sufficient nutrient नहीं पहुंच रहा है? क्या hospitals की कमी है वहां पे? So government gets a lot of information based on these. These are just 2 examples I gave you, but there is a lot more that the government can find out, right? As you all pointed out, government gets a lot of idea from this. So that's why census is important. This website is called, if you can see on the screen, let the page load. Yes, the website itself is called censusindia.gov.in. It is a government website. It has a lot of information on the census, on the past census also, इसके पहले जो भी हुआ था, and there are different pages. So this one page also tells us why census is important. So you can go through it at your own time, and you will get a lot of data, a lot of information from this. If you look on the left side, vital statistics, sample registration system, तो कैसे एक section divide होता है, then annual health survey होता है, what are the acts and the rules, population register. You will get a lot of information on this website. So in your free time, do visit this website. You will get to learn a lot. All right, moving back to our lesson then. Let's quickly do a little bit of calculation on this. We'll try to answer all these questions. First question we have already answered. When was the last census in India? It was in 2011. So quickly type in the chat box when will be the next census and the one after that. So अगले 2 census कौन-कौन से year में होंगे? Quickly type in the chat box. And wait for 10 seconds so that everyone can type in their answers. We are looking for the years of the next 2 censuses. Thank you for everyone who is typing in. Others, you are encouraged to write. Be as active as you can. Otherwise, नींद से तो जागना मुश्किल हो जाएगा. Yes, all of you are right. 2021 में होगा. So इसके पहले हुआ था 2011. 10 years का gap, right? So 2011 के बाद 2021 and then 2031. So it will keep on going. Now the third question that I have is, how old will you be at those times? So write it in this format. In 2021 dash how old you will be, and then 2031 dash how old you will be. Write your answers in this format. I'll repeat the format again. 2021 dash how old will you be then, and then 2031 dash what will be your age. Okay, some students are 16 years, 26 years, some are 15, 25. Beautiful. Most of you are 16 and 26, I guess. Great. So keep on submitting the answers. Oh, 17 and 27. That's a new data. 14 and 24. Oh, wow. Very young. Lakshmi says 16 and 27. How is that 10 years? Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Perfect then. So next year, next census तो मतलब अगले साल में ही. Now it is scheduled for next year. I don't know हो पाएगा या नहीं because given the current situation, it might not be safe for the government officers to travel to each and everybody's home, get infected maybe. So that's not ideal, right? I don't know what will happen next year, but let's see. So we already know how old you are going to be in next year during the census. Imagining that census hoga, and the year, the time after that, so 2031 mein you will be 26, 27 years old roughly, right? Now my next question comes: what do you think you will be doing in life at those times? So next year, as in 2021, what do you think you will be doing? And in 2031, where do you hope to be? For this, you can unmute and answer if you want. I think that will be quicker. Others, you can type in and you can unmute and answer also. The ones who are writing job, be a little more specific. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? 11 years, sorry. Preparing for exams, higher post with some work, graduation. Graduation में 10 साल वेदांत. (2021) you will be in 11th, yes. So 10th का exam खत्म होगा, you'll be in 11th. And in 2031, 10 years after that, you will probably be working. Some of you must be ending your masters, studying for higher exams, higher education, job and making career. Nikita also says she might be married. Oh my God. जल्दबाजी है शादी करने की. No, first set your career, then focus on marriage. शादी के लिए you will get your entire lifetime. First set up your career, then go for marriage. Aditya says, don't know, fortune is the king. Okay, fortune is the king, but we still need to have some plans for ourselves, right? So yes, for Abhi se I will tell you, for the year 2031, all the best. I hope all of you get what you want. अच्छे jobs, अच्छे पढ़ाई, अच्छे degrees, and a lot of happiness in life. All right, so we'll see what happens in the year 2031. Hope we are still in touch by that time. Great. Now, what is the point of discussing all this census and everything? Because it is basically data collection. What will I do in 2031? I'll be dead by then. I'm becoming old day by day. I don't think I'll be alive till that time. Okay, so the point of discussing about data collection, the population of India, what are they doing, in which situation are they living, all of this is basically data collection, right? So we get to know a lot about the population of the country. Now the chapter that we are doing, chapter 6 of geography, that is completely based on this. So throughout the chapter, you will see which part in India or which part in Brazil has a lot of population, which part has less population. Why is that so? Kyun us particular area mein there is a lot of population? Why in a certain area there are very few people living in that area? Then you will learn about the population demographic also. So the composition of the population, how many men, how many female, what are their ages, age ratio, sex ratio. We will learn all of this throughout the chapter. So for today, we are going to focus on just the population distribution and the reason for that distribution. Okay. So we are going to look at the maps. If you have your books open, you will find there are two comparative maps. India के भी दो maps है, Brazil के भी दो maps है. We'll look at them, study them. We'll try to we'll try to answer a couple of questions based on them for both the maps given for India and Brazil. All right. So I'm going to open up the textbook also, and I'll share it on the screen. Right, so this is the map. This is page number 38 of your textbooks. Give me a quick thumbs up once you've opened up the map. You can see it in front of you. Thank you, Pranali. Once you've opened up the textbook, opened up page 38, you can see the map. Give me a quick thumbs up. Thank you, Pranali. Thank you, Nikita. Thank you, Hardik. Shubham Khorde, Harshvardhan Dubey, Vaishnavi, Shreya Sanavne, Kaushik Sappal, Akash, Lakshmi, Smriti, Siddesh. Thank you, everyone. All right, perfect. So let's quickly, while we're looking at the map, okay, there are two maps, right? First we are doing for India. I can see map A and then map B. Yeah. Now the map on the left and the map on the right, they are, what kind of data are they giving me? What exactly can I learn from these maps? Can anyone answer?
Population.
Population, yes. So one on the left, if I read the heading, it says population distribution. So how is the population distributed throughout the country? Now distribution kahin pe zyada hai, as in the number of people are more in some area, in some other areas there are not so many people. And the map on the right side shows me the population density. Okay, so how do I study these two maps? If I look at the map on the left, there is one line given below the title of the map. It says 1 dot equals 2 lakh people. So if you look carefully, there are a lot of dots on the map. Right now, each dot stands for 2 lakh people. So I can easily look at a certain place and get an idea that यहाँ पे इतने लोग रहते हैं, and in this particular area, in this particular state, the population is much more compared to some other states, right? So if I zoom in a little bit more, you'll be able to see the main metropolitan cities. So in New Delhi, I can see there are so many small dots that it looks like a big red dot right over here. Same for Mumbai. Who can spot Mumbai?
I.
Okay, I'm going to allow annotation on screen. Akash, can you please make a circle around Mumbai? Yeah, perfect. So it's a very small one, right? Thank you for the other random lines also. I'll clear the screen. Perfect. Yes, if you notice carefully, this whole place is Maharashtra. And this small triangle that is coming out of it, only this small triangle, exactly pencil ka point jahan pe hai, that part is Mumbai. So there is a bright red dot on that spot. That is your Mumbai.
So small, teacher.
Yes, very small. But living in Mumbai, you all know that it's actually, when you stay at that place, it doesn't seem so small. On the map, it might seem small, but there are so many people in that small area, right? So, and then in northern India, you can find a lot of population. This whole area with Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, Jharkhand, these areas have a lot of population. West Bengal. But in Western India, if I look at Rajasthan and Gujarat, there is relatively less population. In the most northernmost parts of India, so if I look at Jammu and Kashmir or the northeastern parts, so Arunachal Pradesh and the Seven Sisters, here the population is very less compared to what there is in this part of India. So we are going to look into the correlation also. ऐसा क्यों है कहीं पे ज़्यादा है कहीं पे कम है? But we'll get to that later. So this is what the map on the left tells me. Now map on the right, it says population density. And how do I read this? This shows the number of people per square kilometer. So a particular area, square kilometer is a particular land, right? Certain measurements है उसके, एक square kilometer के अंदर अंदर एक particular area में कितने लोग रहते हैं. So if I look at Haryana, this shade matches with the last one. So it says more than 500. Means in Haryana the population is so much that in 1 square kilometer more than 500 people are living. Same goes for Delhi, UP, Bihar, West Bengal. But Jharkhand is a shade lighter. So there, if I match it, 251 to 500. So that many people are living in 1 square kilometer area. So this is showing me the population density of the different states in India, right? Okay, now that we know of the maps, one more question. Can someone tell me what is the method of mapping for the one on the left and the one on the right? Which kind of map is being used here?
Teacher, on the left A.
Teacher, choropleth is this density.
1 minute, Akash, don't interrupt when someone is speaking. Nikita, let Nikita finish and then Akash will answer.
Map A is dot method and map B is choropleth method.
Okay, Akash, is the answer the same? Okay. Shreya and Priyanka have also answered. The one on the left is dot method. Clearly, it's filled with dots. This is the dot method map. And the one on the right hand side, it's using different shades of color to give you a certain information. So it is choropleth. Okay. Don't get the spelling wrong. It's not chloropleth. It's choropleth. If you see in the chat box, Shreya has written the correct spelling. All right, so now we'll try to answer these couple of questions given on the bottom. Let's just answer these two questions. States with highest population density and states with lowest population density. So now I'm not talking about distribution, I'm talking about population density. So I will look at the map on the right hand side. Which are the states which have highest population density? Let's answer this first. Students, you can write your answers in the chat box. We are looking for states with the highest population density. So look at the map on the right. Nikita, you can all type in the chat box. Yeah, Shubham, you can also type in the chat
Punjab,
box.
Haryana.
Yes, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh. What else? Keep writing. Now for the ones who are still not able to understand how are we doing this, if I look at the key, it's increasing as the shade gets darker, the number of people is increasing. So more the number of people in a certain square kilometer, the more is the population density in that area. So we are looking for states which have the highest population density, which means जो सबसे ज़्यादा dark color के हैं, ऐसे dark red वाला, those are the states we are looking for. So yes, I can see in the answers Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Punjab, Haryana, West Bengal, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, yes, Delhi, correct. Bihar is also there. Correct. I think those are all the states, right? Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala. These are your states with the highest population density. Perfect. Thank you so much everyone for typing in your answers. Now the next question. States with lowest population density. States with lowest population density, match it with the lightest color. So this color, if you can see the mouse cursor, this is the lightest color, less than 100 people per square kilometer, and type in the names of those states जहाँ पे lowest population density है. Jammu and Kashmir, yes. MP is not in this, Aditya. If you look carefully, these are two different shades. Jammu and Kashmir से एक shade ज़्यादा है Madhya Pradesh. Then Jammu and Kashmir, Arunachal Pradesh is there, correct. Chhattisgarh, no. Again, Chhattisgarh is not right. It is the same shade as Madhya Pradesh, but ये second वाला है, 101 से 250 वाला. Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, no. Again, these are not ones with the lowest population density. उससे भी हल्के shade का कुछ है. Look for that. Sikkim, yes, Sikkim is there. Karnataka, no, Karnataka is incorrect. Uttarakhand, Uttarakhand correct. Jammu and Kashmir, Maharashtra is not right. Mizoram, Himachal, yes. Okay, so let's quickly look then. See, look very carefully. Huh? Normally, if you are focusing into the map, देखने में problem हो सकता है. Tilt a little bit back. Take a step back and then try to look. You'll be clearly able to see कि Jammu and Kashmir and Madhya Pradesh दोनों का shade अलग है. Right, Jammu and Kashmir has less than 100 people. Madhya Pradesh lies on the second one, so 101 to 250 people per square kilometer. It is a shade darker than the lighter one. So we are right now looking for the states with least population density. So this shade only we are looking for, the one with less than 100 people per square kilometer. So under that we have Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, then we have Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram also, and that's it. Even Mizoram, Manipur, maybe there is a shade difference. Okay, so these are the few states which have least population density. Perfect. I can see so many of you are able to understand these questions. Shade का थोड़ा tricky हो सकता है, and especially in your final board exam papers, it will be a lot more difficult because right now the images at least in color, right? You can see the different shades. But when you get your exam papers, the color print nahi hota hai. At that time, you get black and white print. So it becomes even more difficult to understand the different shades of gray. That's all you can see in that paper. White or gray ke different shades hote hain. So be very careful while you're answering this. Har ek shade mein difference you will be able to see. Look for that difference. All right, good job. Now the next question is, on the basis of the maps given above, classify the distribution population in India in the following table. So population density less than 100, कौन से states में है? 101 to 250, how many states में? So we have already done two of these. We have done less than 100 and we have done more than 500. The other two you can fill in as homework. I will write it. I will send it to you as homework, and you can easily do a proper distribution, a proper classification of the different states. All right, same thing we are going to do for the Brazil maps also. Let's see what kind of questions they have. So these are the two maps for Brazil. Again, the same thing. The one on the left is population distribution shown through dot method, and the one on the right is the choropleth map, which shows us population density. The scale is also given here. The index is given, so you can again see and check. There are 4 questions at the bottom of this. Let's answer them. First says, in which area is population greatly concentrated? So they're talking specifically of the area. They are not asking for the states, but which area is the population greatly concentrated? Concentrated मतलब बहुत ज़्यादा है. छोटे से space में काफी ज़्यादा लोग हैं. So which are those areas? You can type in the chat box again. Aditya says south. Yes, I can see compared to the north and the western regions. I can see south में, and I can see on the eastern part. Here also I can see a little bit population. Southeast also. Yes, southeast में सबसे ज़्यादा. Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, Shreya. Everyone who's writing south, east, southeast, all 3 answers are right. So in general, I can see north and eastern and central में the population is a little less, but on the eastern, southern, basically all along the coastline, right? The whole eastern coastal region is filled with population. So there might be something to that, right? There must be a reason कि coast के side पे ही क्यों population इतना ज़्यादा हो रहा है. So we'll look into that also later. Siddesh is asking Brasilia. Yes, Brasilia has a lot of population also, although it is kind of in the center. Reason being, Brasilia is the it's a capital, right? So capital city में normally population will be more because opportunities are a lot more. All right, second question: in which area is the distribution of population sparse? Sparse meaning, sparse is the opposite of concentrated. मतलब बहुत कम है. So which regions are the population very less?
North, West and Northwest.
Northwest and Northwest. So exact opposites. Population काफी कम है. In both the maps we can see the same pattern, right? ऐसा नहीं कि इसमें कुछ दिख रहा है और इसमें कुछ और. No. It's the same thing we can see in both the maps. Good. Third question, prepare a note on factors responsible for uneven distribution of population based on, this is something we'll do afterwards. We'll get back to it. And the fourth one, identify the type of map showing distribution. So one is for distribution, one is for density. They're asking the map showing distribution. What type is it?
Dot method.
Dot method. Thank you, Lakshmi. Anyone else? Hardik also says dot method. Perfect. It is correct. This is dot method, right? Oh, Aditya also writes area around Amazon River. Yes, area around Amazon River also has very less population. Archita is also saying dot method. Perfect. Good job, guys. You are clearly able to read the maps, do very well. In the geography exam also, you remember the map question that I gave? That was for 3 marks and most of you did really well on that. Most of you were able to score 3 out of 3 in that and I was really happy for that because these map questions, you know, they come in the exam for 4 marks. So easy points. You can easily score in these questions. Then map making also, if you practice a little bit at home, very easily you can be able to do that also. So 4 for 8 marks to aise mil jayenge, right? It's quite easy. And you guys are on the right path. So good job. All right, now moving on to, I'm going to stop sharing for a while. I'll put on the PPT that we were using. Right, so these things we have done. We have looked at the maps. We have answered some questions for both India and Brazil. Moving on to the next one. Oh, there's a table and this is something you have to fill for your homework. But I'll quickly tell you how you need to do this. If you open up your textbooks, page number 38, then on the top right hand side, you can see it says geographical explanation. And under that, it's giving you a little bit of details, a little bit of statistics about India's population and India's land. So I'm reading on page 38, top right paragraph. India's population is around 121 crores according to census 2011. India is the second most populous country in the world. So in the whole world, second highest population is in India. India occupies only 2.41% of the land area of the world. So if I say that entire world has 100% land area, then उसमें से 2.41% तो India का ही है. Whereas it supports 17.5% of the world's total population. So if the total population of the world is 100%, then India has 17.5% of that, which is quite a bit. That's why it's the second highest populated country. Then India's average population density is also given. It is 382% per square kilometer. Here in the map, you can see specific states में कितना population density है. But overall, average India ka population density is 382 people per square kilometer as per the 2011 census. So a little bit information given about India. Same information you can also find for Brazil on the next page, right over here in the geographical explanation. So all you have to do is on the in the table that is shown on the screen, you will have to fill in this information in the table. So total population for India and then for Brazil, land area for India, then Brazil, or population. Fill these 6 points, and this table is going to help you a lot because it will be easier to memorize. This data that you are seeing, it's really important to memorize because objective type question mein these questions come a lot of times. Okay, so this table will help you. This will be for homework. I'll show it to you again at the end of the class. Now let's conduct a small census of our own. Okay, we are going to take a small survey amongst our class only. So let's answer these questions one by one. First question is, how many of you were born in Mumbai?
What, teacher?
I born in Mumbai.
You can all write in the chat box, then it will be easier for me to count. Those of you who were born in Mumbai. Oh, that's quite a lot. Siddesh is from Mars. Pata tha mujhe, shak tha. Okay. Others have also written. All right. The ones who were not born in Mumbai, agar aisa koi hai, so please write in the chat box where you were born. The ones who are not born in Mumbai, please write where you were born. Nikita from Thane, Akash from UP, Shubham village kahan pe hai? Write the village also. Harsh Dubey was also born in UP. Aditya also from UP. All right. So most of you were born in Mumbai, but quite a few of you were born outside of Mumbai in other states in India, right? Oh, Ahmednagar. Anand doesn't know where he was born. Anand, then take this homework today with you. Ask your parents in which state you were born. Okay, that is something you should know. For one, I was born in West Bengal. I was born there, but then when I was 3 months old, I shifted to Delhi. All right. Now the second question. In the first question, we have discussed about you, right? The second question is asking, how many of your parents were born in Mumbai? Okay, Mummy was born in Mumbai. Kaushik's mother also. Only Smriti's father was born in Mumbai. Yeah, those whose parents were not born in Mumbai, you can also write where they were born. So Priyanka has written, parents were born in UP. Akash's parents were also born in UP. Lakshmi's mother from UP. Great, great, great. So we see a lot of people who were born in Mumbai. A lot of their parents were also born in Mumbai. But then there are also a lot of people who were not born in Mumbai and their parents were also definitely not born in Mumbai. So then my question comes, the third question. I'll wait for 10 seconds. I'll wait till everyone finishes typing in the chat box. Yeah, I see a lot of UP, Mumbai. All right, all right. Thank you everyone for participating. Lovely. Now comes the third question. See, we just noticed some were born in Mumbai, some were not. But right now everyone is living in Mumbai, right? Although temporarily maybe you are in your village or something. But abhi last 1 saal se 2 saal se you have been living in Mumbai only. So why this shift then? Why did your parents decide to shift to Mumbai? What is the reason behind that? Or why did you, if your grandparents shifted to Mumbai, then what was the reason they wanted to shift? Siddesh, what is the sad life story? He was kidnapped from his village and brought to Mumbai. Don't say kidnapped. You are living with your relatives only, you know. All right, Aditya says, for better livelihood and for better studies. Parents thought that if we go to Mumbai, there is a lot of more job opportunities there and our kids will be able to get good education in Mumbai. All right. Shubham Khorde also writes the same thing, for education to get a job, for a job. Kaushik doesn't know the reason. Harsh Gupta also says for a nice job, job to work and get many. Smriti says, how we know why grandparents are shifted to Mumbai? Go and ask them. If they are alive and well, go and ask them.
Teacher, now grandparents also.
No, we are not going to discuss the grandparents right now, but you can discuss it at home. Okay, have a good discussion with your grandparents. And you know, grandparents often really feel happy when you take interest in their lives. So do have these discussions with them.
But teacher, no grandparents, and who we will discuss?
If you don't have grandparents with
ऊपर
you
जाना
right now, then it's
पड़ेगा,
okay. Leave. Ask your
टीचर
parents.
ऊपर जाना पड़ेगा अभी डिस्कस करने के लिए गोस्ट बन के.
हाँ, तो ask your parents only then कि आप लोगों के मम्मी पापा कहाँ से थे. Ask your parents. And why did they shift? ऊपर जाने की जरूरत नहीं है, अभी तो तुम लोग यहीं पे रहो.
टीचर प्रणाली को ऊपर जाने की बहुत जल्दी है.
लग रहा है कुछ ऐसा ही. All right. So you see, getting back to the reasons, the ones you wrote, correct, right? For job, for better facilities, resources काफी available है in Mumbai. That's why they shifted to Mumbai. Now this is true for not only Mumbai but for any big city. In cities there are a lot of opportunities. So you get a lot of jobs, and because of that, a lot of people shift to the cities from other villages or other rural areas. Now, let's discuss the reason for this migration. Right. Fourth question says, name the factors which make a place suitable for living. Already you have named two things, job opportunities, education opportunities. These are already two reasons we have seen. If a place has good job opportunities, people will shift there. If a place has good education, people are also going to shift there. What are some other reasons, other factors which makes a place suitable for living or for shifting to that place? Okay, type in the chat box.
Teacher, more facilities.
More facilities in terms of what, Priyanka?
Teacher, can I speak?
Let Priyanka answer first, then Bhumika you. Oh, Priyanka has written in the chat box. Bhumika, you can answer.
Teacher, if someone comes from outside or they want to stay, so where the rent is means less, there they can go and stay.
Okay, so living opportunities again. Looking at the chat box, Shubham Khorde says developed place. Yes, so the place of job will be nearby. Market and all will be also nearby. You can buy a lot of things. So you have a lot of facilities for entertainment. So it's a really developed place. That is one reason, one factor why a place becomes suitable for living. Then we have different amenities, so the resources available to you, ghar rehne ki jagah, khana, peena, bijli, electricity, right? Availability of water also. These are important things. Education, hospitality, but the hospital, medical care, basically healthcare industry, that should be well set up. Good. For earning, in Mumbai there is more job opportunity. True. Crop failure forced villagers to migrate to cities. So yes, again in search for better job opportunities, right? Technology, okay. Tourism, but Athar, tourism, how will tourism make a place suitable for living? अगर कहीं टूरिज्म अच्छा है तो वहां पे लोग जाके रहेंगे क्यों? वहां पे तो घूमने जाएंगे ना. You are saying it's suitable, tourism also makes it a suitable place for living. Why? So till Athar answers this, I'll go on to read the other replies. Aditya says, my grandfather and grandmother were in Bombay, so to take care of them, we shifted to Bombay. That's also a valid reason. I know it's not mainstream, but it's valid, right? Sometimes because of family, because of relatives, you need to shift. So that's also a reason. Wherever your family is, you need to be there. So family is also one big reason, one big factor. Cities where there is a dam for producing electrical current or houses, so jahan pe there is a good availability of electricity. Dam not only for electricity purposes, but also think jahan pe river hai, jahan pe water source hai, people will want to settle there, right? Because wahan pe factories zyada banengi, because factories will use that water. People for their own livelihood, they will use that water. With factories comes the opportunity for jobs also. So people will shift to places where there is a good natural source of water. Earning, tourism, says there are good facilities at tourism. Yeah, so the basic idea is because of tourism, there will be a lot of more job opportunities there. So that's why people can shift to that place and start living there. Migration because of flood, tsunami, earthquake, destruction. So yeah, if in other rural areas there is some damage due to natural disasters, people will shift to the cities, right? Good job, guys. Yes, you have covered a lot of important points. So a place becomes suitable for living when, let's start from the basics, when there is good water, when there is a good area to live. So the land should be preferably flat, right? People won't go to the mountains and start living there क्योंकि वहाँ घर बनाना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. So there should be good availability of water, flat land. Then there should be electricity, technology, development, job opportunities, educational opportunities, healthcare facilities. All these things make a place really suitable for living. All right. So now let's go back to the textbook and we'll see. Wait, I'll stop sharing this. Now we are going back to the textbook and we'll see what are the reasons, how we can relate this population distribution with the different factors, different physiographical factors of a region. Shubham, I'll take 5 minutes more. Give me 1 minute, please. Okay, I'm on page number 38. Right side, bottom right paragraph. So here they are giving us the correlation between distribution of population and the features in that area. So if a certain place in India has a lot of population, तो उसका क्या reason है? The reasons that we have already discussed in the chat box for 5 minutes, right? And then also if a place has very little population, then what is the reason for that? So I'm going to read through this paragraph. In India, population is very unevenly distributed. कहीं ज़्यादा है, कहीं कम है. Physiography and climate play a important role in the distribution of population. So physiography, as in, is it a mountainous area? Is it a plain land? Are there plateaus in that region? Are there water bodies in that region? All of these are your physiography. So physiography plays a big role, and also the climate. Does it rain over there? Does it rain too much over there? Does it snow in that area? Is it a desert-like area? So the climate also helps a lot in the distribution of population. If it's a desert, it's really hot or really cold, people will not want to go and settle in those regions. So वहाँ population अपने आप कम होगा. Due to the fertile land, plain land, and availability of water, human settlements have been established in these parts for many centuries, right? Initially, like in the modern times, we are also talking about healthcare industry and electricity and these things, job opportunities. But initially, what were the basic things why a person would settle down somewhere? Because the place had fertile land, तो वहाँ पे खेती बाड़ी कर सकते थे. Plain land, so it was easy to make homes, do agriculture, and also the availability of water for survival purpose and also for the crops that we were growing. So for that, human settlement started building up in those flat areas, in those plain lands with good water sources. That's why the northern Indian plains, in the Indian northern plains, they are really highly populated because all the criteria are matched. Now, due to farming, industries and trade, the proportion of population got concentrated in few places. So as farming increased, there was more opportunity for employment. Then slowly with technological development, factories also started setting up. Again, more opportunity for people to get jobs in those regions. And the more factories are set up, the more people start living there, the more development comes to an area. Technological development, civil, like social development, everything comes to that area. and the concentration of population just keeps on increasing. For example, northern plains of the country, Delhi, Kolkata, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, etc. These are densely populated. On the contrary, opposite side पे, in the mountainous hilly regions, dry desert areas, dense forest areas, the density will be very sparse. कम लोग रहेंगे वहाँ पे. Why? Because if it's a dry desert area, the climate is not suitable. If it's a hilly region, you can't do proper agriculture. It's too cold. You can't build proper houses there. So people will avoid living in those areas. Dense forest also the same thing. It will be difficult for people to get resources in those areas. So that's why, because of inaccessibility and absence of facilities, those regions have very little population. Same thing we are going to study for Brazil also. It's not much different than India. Again, for the same reasons, job opportunities, agricultural opportunities, water availability, people keep on shifting to certain regions. I'm reading on page 39, bottom left side. The distribution of population is very uneven in Brazil. The majority of Brazilians are concentrated within 300 kilometers of the coastal region, I guess. Yeah, 300 kilometers of the eastern coastal areas, also called the coastal lowlands. So coastal regions in Brazil, you can see a lot of population, as you can see in this map also. Along the coast, there is a lot of population settlement. Therefore, agriculture and industries have flourished well here. So comparatively flat land, they have good water resources. Agriculture can be done well there. So a lot of population has flourished in these results. As a result, higher density of population is found here. On the other hand, interior in the Amazon basin, now this we have studied before also. Amazon basin, the Amazon rainforest is so dense, and it rains so much, it's really hot and humid. So the physiography, the climate, nothing is suitable for people to live there. And that's why, because of unfavorable climate, heavy rainfall and accessibility issues, also dense forests, so many animals live there. Because of that, human beings do not settle in those regions. Therefore, settlements occur only in few places in the Amazon basin. And the central and western part of Brazil is also less populated. And in the highlands, population is moderate, medium है. So central and western में कम क्यों है? Because यहाँ पे Brazilian highlands के edges है, and also in the western region we have learnt about Pantanal regions, which is the swamp or marshy land. So वहाँ पे भी it's not possible for people to live. So these are some of the reasons how we can correlate the population and the distribution of population in certain regions because of geography as well as climate. All right. So I'm going to stop here now. Your homework will be one to fill up that table that I showed. So the statistics of India and Brazil will be filling up in that table. And the second homework will be, I'll give you 2-3 questions related to this population distribution and the correlation. What are the factors people live in certain areas and not in others? Okay, so I'll send you the homework. I haven't prepared the PPT, the PDF for that. So I'll send it to you in a couple of minutes. And I will also send you the time by which you have to do. Now, 2 important things I need to say. So don't leave the call just yet. One thing is, because so many people have dropped out. There were 28 participants at one point. Now I can see 24. All right. First thing, Bhumika, please take the attendance at this point.
I take also.
Take it again, and is time wala mujhe bhejna. The student should be staying till the end of the class. Second thing, I know it's not possible for you to switch on the video at all times because बाकी lectures के लिए वो नहीं बचेगा आपके पास mobile data. But what I want you all to do from tomorrow onwards is, let's set up a proper class culture. एक proper discipline लेके चलते हैं. So what we'll do is, everyone, you will wear your proper school uniforms. Those who don't have uniforms, you will be wearing formal kurtis or shirts. And when the lecture starts, everyone will show me their face for 5 seconds. After that, you can switch off the video. Because once or twice, galti se jab video on ho jata hai, I've also noticed students are lying on their bed, आराम से लेटे lecture चल रहा है. Not acceptable. Okay? वैसे लेटे karoge to काम नहीं होगा, दिमाग तक कुछ नहीं पहुंचेगा. So tomorrow onwards, when you join the call, switch on the video for 5 seconds. Show me your face that you are in proper uniform, proper hair tied and everything, combed, and then you can switch off the video. Clear? Aditya, wear your school uniform. I know you have your school uniform. Archita, just wear the kurti on top. नीचे घर का पजामा हो तो भी चलेगा, but I want ऊपर का proper. Reason for this I will also explain is because you will feel much better. जब आप कहीं के लिए prepare होके निकलते हो, you already feel like yes, I'm ready to work now. So for classes also it's the same thing. You will be in that mindset. So this we will do tomorrow onwards. Please don't give me excuses कि नहीं हो सकता, अभी नहीं हो सकता. I want to see your faces for 5 seconds, then you can switch on. So dress sharply, and I'll see you tomorrow. I'll tell you what class you have tomorrow. I'll send you the timetable for that. All right, thank you everyone. You can start leaving the call. Bye bye.
Teacher,
Yes, Bhumi.
Bhumika leave before time.
Bhumika left before time.
Yes.
She was here.
Yes. You said she only need to take screenshot.
Ah, she took the screenshot, then only she must have left. No worries,
Bye.
don't worry about that. Bye.